So I was just reminded recently of a film that I saw a long time ago that down in the wake of Hollywood just crumbling to the ground, I feel like this is a great film that if you haven't seen it yet, totally watch it. But with that being said, let's get into it.
I know about this place. I know about the place you are in.
What do you know about the place I'm in?
There was a moment when I used to blame everything and everyone. Blame everybody. Blame white people. Blame society. Blame God. I didn't get no answers because I was asking the wrong questions. Has anything you've done made your life better?
So American History X. Have you seen this film? Have you heard of it? But if you've seen it, give this video a like. And if you've heard of it, let me know in the comments below what you heard of it. And if you do plan on watching it. It's not a new film. It came out in the late 90s. I ain't gonna lie, the late 90s was a really good time for films. If I'm be late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of great films came out around that time. Case in point, this film came out in 1998. It's one of those films that you look at Hollywood now and you see like what they're doing with stories and characters that just happen to be white and male. This film could never be made again. And if it was, it would be decimated because they would just destroy the whole purpose behind why this story is so good. And as a black girl talking about a film that has neo-Nazis in it, you would think there must be a deeper meaning behind this story outside of just what we see at face value. It's such a remarkable story that some people just don't want to see because they just want to see the color and the signs and the different symbols. And it's just like, no, there's actually like someone wrote this story and they were actually really good at it, but it's really dark. It's really dark. It's really brutal. And because of the fact it came out in the early 90s, in the 90s, it's exactly why it couldn't be made now. So American History X, actually, funny enough, the first time I ever saw Edward Norton was in this film. After I saw him in this film, I saw him then in Fight Club, which we will totally talk about. Why go down the rabbit hole of watching films now that are not good when you can talk about films in the past that some people have probably never heard of that are actually really good? Edward Norton. Crazy how the transformation of him in this film actually was. So when he was a neo-Nazi, he had no hair on his head. He was buff. Like, I've never seen Edward Norton as buff as he was in this film. It was actually very impressive. I go back and watch the film, and it's really good to be able to watch a film that's over 20 years old, over 30 years old, and it still has the same impact as it did when you first watched it. I can't say at all that this film didn't age well. Now, granted, because of the climate of the world, people would definitely not put this in the category of films to watch, but I'd say if you're a huge lover of storytelling and great acting, this film is definitely a thing that you need to watch. So it follows this neo-Nazi dude played by Edward Norton. He has a younger brother played by Edward Furlong. The older brother is sent to jail because he ends up killing a black guy. He goes to jail. Again, he's a skinhead. He's surrounded around all these skinheads. We all want to understand how did you get here? Like, what's going on? He goes to jail and he gets out and he's trying to get his brother to go down the same path as him. And like, this way that we're thinking and living our lives is not right. We need to change it because this is not how the world really is. As he's in jail, he experiences a lot of stuff. Like, he sees skinheads in jail and he assumes that, oh yes, part of the brotherhood. Come to find out, skinheads are hanging out with the black guys are hanging out with the Spanish people are hanging out. Everybody's just intermingling and he's so confused. He doesn't understand why this is. Like, there's something wrong with them. And they're trying to help him understand, no, you don't understand how the world works. He drops the soap, he gets fucked up, basically. It's been a while since I've seen the film, so I don't remember names. But this guy, Avery Brooks, when I saw him in films, was always that really prestigious, sort of well-spoken character that you just had to respect every time you saw him on the scene, just from how he presented himself. Such a very eloquent person. You had no choice but to respect him. The professor, he's coming in, he's trying to get him to get on the right foot. Like, you have your brother, you can save your brother. I am going to help you, but it's going to come with conditions because my love is not unconditional.
You want my help, you got to do better than that. My help is not unconditional. But running just ain't good enough.
I want you to be better. If you fuck up, I'm not always going to be there. I want you to be good. Like, I want you to get out and help your brother along the way. I'm not going to love you no matter what. I'm here to help your ass so you don't end up dead. As he's in jail, and the film basically takes place, it's a few years, but the film primarily focuses on the younger brother waiting for his brother to get out of jail, and then what led up to the brother getting into jail to begin with. The life that he was living is basically shown to us. Basically, was like a leader in the neighborhood that he was in. He was like the big dog leader. That when he got out, it ended up changing up the way he looks, changing up everything about him. Everybody looks at him crazy. And I liked how the character went from being the muscular skinhead to like having hair like the way people normally see Edward Norton. You know, a little thinner, because if you see him with no hair, oh, straight skinhead. Storytelling. I'm just saying, like, they did really good with this story. In the wake of the black kid getting killed, there was a dilemma that was taking place with his younger brother, Edward Furlong's character, with another black kid. While that issue is happening, that's happening, but like we don't really focus on it until like the very end of the film. He's getting out, and it's just, obviously it's hard. It's hard to change up the way you are how you've been thinking, which is how you've been thinking for a very long time. He's having to readjust his mind to understand that, okay, this way we've been thinking all this time about how we view people, anybody that's not white, is probably not good. Like, we probably shouldn't be thinking like that, and the brother's helping him understand that. While the professor is also helping the older brother in jail before he gets out. He's also like a professor at the school that the younger brother is at. And then there came a point in the film where you understood exactly where the mindset that these boys got, like where that mindset came from, how this behavior was taught to them. And it was just so fascinating. Again, stories like this could never be made again. And that sucks. It sucks to say that the time of great storytelling is long gone. You know, to find a good story, you might have to go indie or go foreign. While there are few and far in between when it comes to American stories being told that are good, the more they start to hire activists as opposed to storytellers, you're always going to have shit films coming out, like the films that have come out recently. American History X and films like that are going to be a thing of the past. Now, I'm not going to spoil the film for you. Like, I do think people should watch this film because it definitely comes full circle at the end. It definitely made me realize I got off of work and I went to a bar with a coworker, and we happened to meet a person there that happened to be like a film buff. And this film was the thing that he brought up, because we were talking about films from the past. True film lovers could appreciate a good story no matter how old it is. And so we brought it up, and it really got me excited because I'm like, not many people know about American History X. He knew stuff about the story that I never knew. Like, we can kind of guess that when it comes to awards, that film probably would not have been in the category of anything because of just face value, white, skinheads, racism, killing black people. Like, yeah, that's not going to be a thing that people are going to talk about, but it sucks because if you look at it at just that, you miss the whole point of the story, which is why I don't give a shit about award shows. I never really did. When Halle Berry won the award for A Monsters Ball, I knew that awards ceremonies were stupid. In the wake of understanding what they focus on as opposed to what they should be focusing on, it made it very clear, like, you can't take them seriously. But films like American History X, you can actually have a great story with a great great message. Like, they're not preaching at you. They're just telling a story in a very good way with really good actors. Things come full circle. Like, the story actually comes together really well. It's sad, but it happened. Like, you know, the story is what it is. You as a person could understand how stories work, and you can watch a film and just get it. Someone can watch the same exact film and get something completely different. I talk about this when I did my pitch meeting for Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. I always knew I was going to watch the film. In watching that film, I saw it with two other people, and it was kind of interesting. All three of us had three very different takes on the film. I loved it. One person hated it, and the other person was indifferent. Very odd. We were watching the same exact film. I just took something completely different out of it than they did, and it was just very interesting to see how people's minds work. American History X. Don't know many people that hate it, but I can understand if you're comparing it to things in Hollywood, why people would not like this film. It's about race. It's not about the meaning behind the words that are being said or the acts that are taking place. You know, it's all about the story. I guess is good, but the
person had a swastika.
Everything was great until
They killed that black kid.
as opposed to just finishing the story and realizing why he did what he did, you know? And I like the fact that the story, there wasn't really any, when it came to the main characters, there was no set bad guy, good guy. The bad guy in the story that kills the black guy, you understand why he did it. At the same time, there's a root to everything. And it was just kind of interesting how I go into films now and it's like, why am I rooting for the villain? Why is the villain the most common sense person here? Also, at the same time, why are the protagonists so terrible? Storytelling and characters are just so ass backwards nowadays. Why can't I understand people's points of view and have the good people still have bad intentions but still be good. You can still root for them. And that's what I was doing in American History X. Even though Edward Norton's character was like the bad guy, you know, to a degree, he had his redemption arc. This isn't supposed to be a long video, but again, it's been torturous trying to go and like see films. I am going to be going back and watching Netflix to see what's up there as far as films, but it was just kind of funny because I definitely had this conversation like a couple of days ago, and it made me think. I was like, yo, people don't talk about American History X, but it's a film that should be talked about and people should watch. A time when storytelling was really focused on stories and not about race, to a degree, you know what I mean. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what you think. Have you seen American History X? And if you did see it, what did you think about it? And maybe I'm just very I don't know, I could be very jaded when it comes to just new things coming out when it comes to films, but do you see a film like this being made again in modern day? And if you do see it being made, do you think they're going to demolish it with their political agendas? Or do you think that there might be some sort of independent filmmaker that might come out and actually do a good job at telling a similar story with similar topics? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be very intrigued to read what you guys think. This journey has been an adventure, just traveling around Florida and just checking out things. So follow me on Instagram to see the things that I'm doing and growing when it comes to my artistic endeavors. But I love you all, and I hope to see you all in the next video.